stand up for the next leader of the UFCW.
I have this.
All right. So now, this is very serious. I want to know, do you commit to continuing the 770's proud history of fighting for workers' rights, economic and racial justice, social equality, and joining in solidarities with those committed to furthering those same values? Do you commit?
Yes, I do.
I believe her. Do you pledge to fight for the social, economic, and political empowerment of our members and all workers across the nation? Do you pledge?
Yes, I do.
Here's a harder one. Do you commit to protect and nurture the democratic principles of our union?
Yes, I do.
Do you commit yourself to organizing unorganized workers, building member leadership within the union, and mobilizing UFCW members in the fight for equality, fair treatment, and access to opportunity? Do you commit?
Yes, I do.
Now, after being clear on her commitment and her pledge, I want to ask if you will repeat after me.
Yes.
I, Kathy Lynn, will uphold and support without reservation
I, Kathy Finn, will uphold and support without reservation
the Constitution of the United Food and Commercial Workers International Union and the bylaws of Local 770.
the Constitution of the United Food and Commercial Workers International Union and the bylaws of Local 770.
I will fight for the rights of our members, staff, and working families.
I will fight for the rights of our members, staff, and working families.
And finally, do you pledge to execute the duties of the office of the President on behalf of the workers, their families, and our community?
Yes, I pledge to execute the duties of the office of President on behalf of the workers, their families, and our community.
Congratulations to the new leader of the UFCW 770.
Thank you, Congresswoman Bass, and our next mayor. It means so much to me to have the first Black woman mayor swear me in as the first woman president of Local 770. Thank you. And today I want to talk about how together we can continue to win even in a very challenging environment. But first, I want to celebrate your successful contract campaigns. So if you were on a bargaining committee, please stand up and be recognized. All the bargaining committee members, stand up if you were on a bargaining committee. Okay, and if you organized a successful contract action team in your shop during the most recent contract campaigns, stand up and be recognized. Those successful contract action teams. If you got a raise this year that you could actually notice in your paycheck, you actually noticed that raise in your paycheck, stand up. And if you are a general merchandise clerk and your pay has increased by $3 per hour within the last year, stand up. GMCs, GM clerks, $3 raise in the last year. Bringing up general merchandise clerk wages was one of our top priorities in these last negotiations in the grocery industry. And while that 18% increase in the first year doesn't close the gap completely, it's a move in that direction. Now I want to recognize our health and safety committees. We got new health and safety committee language in all of our contracts. So if you were one of the 190 members who attended a recent health and safety committee meeting, stand up. And if you're a steward here and you recruited someone else in your store who's not a steward, you recruited another person in your store to be the health and safety committee member and go to a training, you also stand up. Because you folks that recruited someone else in your store to attend a training, you are developing new leaders. And one more. If you already use health and safety committee people, if you already made a safety improvement in your store through your new safety committee, or you've at least done your first walkthrough with management to start making improvements in safety in your store, stand up. Okay, and finally, if you made it to the Stewards Conference this year, stand up. Yeah, so your dedication to creating solidarity and positive change is recognized. Now I want to take a moment to recognize the staff of Local 770. So all the staff members here, can you guys please stand up? All the staff. Our staff, you can stay standing. You can stay standing for a minute. Our staff works tirelessly, some seen and many more unseen, to build power with our members on the shop floor, to move elected officials and policymakers around a pro-worker agenda, to harness the power of worker stories to shape the public narrative, and to provide all the other support services that keep the whole organization moving forward. Our work would not be possible without each of you. So you deserve a hand. Over the last 5 years, since John Grant became president and I became secretary-treasurer, our union has changed. Today, we're here celebrating victories that came from worker power in our shops, from negotiating committees made up of members, and from member-led contract action teams. When John became president, we set out to create a union that empowers workers to fight. We saw that the strongest unions are not those that only provide services. Serving and representing workers is very important and will always be part of our work, but the strongest unions are those where the members are active and engaged, and they're where the members are leading the work, where they understand that this is their union, a democratic union where the members have the power to make positive change. John? You have been my mentor, my friend, my comrade in this struggle for many years. You've been an excellent example of what a leader should be. You have taught me much about the importance of developing leaders, high member participation, and building power to make the changes that workers want and need, as well as the importance of seating arrangements and what to wear to important events. Including the shoes. As you retire, I'm so excited for you. and I'm excited to carry on this work. I also want to acknowledge my family, sitting over there. My parents, my siblings, my kids, my daughter's girlfriend, my possibly future daughter-in-law. I hope that she becomes my daughter-in-law. Like many of our members, I'm a single parent. I struggled with the competing demands of work and childcare. Also, like many of you, I was lucky to have parents who helped me. They were always ready to pick up my kids when negotiations went late, and I'm so grateful to them. And I'm also grateful to my kids, Quinn and Rachel. I lost my place. For understanding and appreciating the important work I did when I was late to pick them up, when we didn't celebrate their birthdays until after the 03-04 strike, which was months after their actual birthdays, and when they occasionally had to sleep in hotel rooms while I was in all-night negotiations downstairs. So thank you for your sacrifice as well. Now I want to take a moment to share why I care so deeply about this work. I'm Jewish, not necessarily religious, but I was raised with progressive Jewish values. The one most dear to me is called Tikkun Olam. Literally, that means to repair or heal the world. The idea is that everyone bears responsibility, not only for their own welfare, but also for the welfare of society at large, and that a life well lived is one of service to others and one that leaves a positive impact on the world. During law school, yes, I am a recovering lawyer, I volunteered with the Labor Defense Network, helping day laborers secure unpaid wages. I loved helping workers, but I was frustrated only helping one at a time. There were lines of workers needing help, and many had to be turned away. I wanted to do something that made a bigger impact. I wanted to join with workers to make fundamental change. That's why I wanted to be part of the labor movement. I see the principles of Tikkun Olam represented in the values of equality, justice, and solidarity championed by the labor movement. As a negotiator in our packing house division, I saw that member participation at the bargaining table could lead to better contracts, transparency, and more member engagement in contract campaigns. Although bargaining committees had not been the practice in retail bargaining in Southern California, John and I fought to have our retail members included in bargaining. Members at the bargaining table are able to push back on inaccurate statements made by the companies. They participate in the give and take of negotiations and provide valuable input on important decisions at the table. And when members are fully involved in campaigns, we're able to win more. The COVID pandemic made it more clear that workers must stand together to protect themselves and protect each other. The companies did not care when our members and their families became sick, and even when some died. Most of our lives and those of your coworkers were forever changed by COVID, while the companies you work for raked in billions in profit. I want to recognize just a couple of members who stood up and fought back to protect themselves and their coworkers during COVID. First, Mary Mueller. Mary, are you here? I want you to stand up. Hi, Mary. Sorry, I didn't warn Mary about this. But Mary led a walkout at her store with her coworkers in protest of her manager's repeated refusal to follow COVID protocols. Next, I want to recognize Maisha Smith. Now, Maisha Smith is not here today. She just called her rep last night. She unfortunately has COVID. But I just want to tell you what happened to Maisha. Maisha was suspended from work when she used pepper spray. Some people may have seen this on the news. This was actually on the news. She used pepper spray to protect herself and her coworkers from a customer who physically assaulted her, verbally racist rant against her when she simply asked him to wear a mask. And Maisha, after this happened, she shared her story in the media. She fought her suspension and was ultimately awarded full back pay. And Susan Hernandez. I know Susan's here. Oh, she's way in the back. Hi, Susan, way back there. So, when Susan's manager at her store was not following COVID protocols and her store became very overcrowded, her store is in a very busy area and was becoming overcrowded, Susan led her coworkers and organized them to close the doors themselves whenever the store got crowded with customers. She organized a team to do that. And she told me this morning that eventually, once she and the coworkers she organized to be on watch for the crowded conditions, they started doing that regularly, and they had somebody responsible on every shift that she organized. Eventually, her manager started to do it too. And I know so many other stewards here today also stepped up and fought back to protect themselves and their coworkers when your managers just didn't care, and you saved your coworkers' lives. And then you use that same activism and really frustration from COVID in your contract campaigns to build contract action teams and bargaining committees, to collect petitions, to hold delegations and demonstrations, and in conversations with your coworkers to get everyone engaged. More workers participated in actions in these recent contract campaigns than at any time since the strike almost 20 years ago. In our most, yeah, you can clap for that. In our most recent campaigns, anywhere from 70% to over 85% of members participated in our strike votes, and over 90% of those voted to authorize a strike each time. But it wasn't just the vote. Fed up from COVID, overworked and understaffed, the companies heard and saw your anger and knew that you were ready to walk out. That solidarity, that communal frustration, the collective demands to be paid and treated fairly resulted in the best contracts ever achieved in the history of the UFCW. And now, other UFCW members across the country who saw the results of your campaign are expecting more and getting better contracts because of what you all did. I also just want to point out and recognize some other folks in the room who were also crucial in this campaign. I have here the presidents of the other Southern California locals, our International Regional Director, Brian Wynn. We have Joe Duffel from Local 1167, Andrea Zinder from Local 324, Mark Ramos from Local 1428, and Todd Walters from Local 135. And thank you guys for being here. These are landmark gains, but you still face many challenges. The companies you work for never stop thinking of ways to make more profit, no matter who gets hurt in the process. Currently, there is a staffing crisis Who here is doing the work that used to be assigned to 2 or even 3 people? Yet it's a lot of them here. You too. Yet the companies somehow continue to cut hours. Right? The changing nature of your work, automation, grocery delivery, and the likes of Amazon and Instacart require us to change the ways we fight back as well. Negotiations in 2024 and 2025 are not going to be easy. The companies are feeling like they gave too much this time, and they'll want to dial back on the improvements we achieved. We need to be prepared. And the possible Ralph's Albertsons merger, which we've only heard about recently, the possible closure of over 400 stores, and Albertsons' ridiculous plan to pay out a $4 billion dividend to shareholders, money they didn't have for hazard pay and PPE, cannot be good for Southern California grocery workers or consumers. I'm going to be flying to Chicago along with a bunch of other people in this room, along with other locals, both from Southern California, across the country, as well as the International Union, to develop a coordinated strategy to defeat this merger. And we'll be meeting with Kroger and Albertsons as well to demand a stop to the Albertsons dividend and this anti-worker merger. We have a lot of work to do together to build a stronger union, to protect the gains we've made, and to make even more improvements. And the power to build a stronger union is sitting right here in front of me. It's you guys. And it lies ready within every workplace. I have seen your power while negotiating contracts with worker bargaining committees. I've seen your power in organizing campaigns where workers stand up and demand their rights. There are 3 more people I want to recognize here today. We have 3 CVS workers, Sarah Zealous, Soleil Oriana, and Loida Godoy. Are you guys here? These are our newest retail union members. They just organized their CVS store, and they are, yay. And they are just about to finish negotiating their very first union contract. I've seen your power in the political arena too. During COVID, the government responded with many protective measures, but only when pushed by you. How many here testified at a city council meeting to push your city for hazard pay? How many did that? And how many of you, how many of you testified at an OSHA hearing to improve safety standards? I know some of you did that too. And hazard pay and COVID sick pay and COVID OSHA standards saved workers' lives. And most recently, I've seen your power in our new health and safety committees that are activating more leaders and making your workplace safer. But we need more leaders and more active members to win against the new challenges we are facing. Which of your coworkers can help you do this work? They may be the folks who plan parties, or those who organize the happy hours. They're the folks who influence others. It's your task to find them and recruit them to increase our power. Earlier, I shared with you the Jewish idea of tikkun olam, the mandate that we all participate in healing the world. I know you are here today because you share this value. Though you didn't know it by that name, you share the value of tikkun olam. We come from different backgrounds, different cultures, and different faiths, but we are united in the belief that making our world a better place, a fairer place, a more just and equitable place cannot be left for someone else to do. It is work that we must do together, and it is my honor and my privilege to share in that work with all of you. So together we will continue to bear responsibility for each other, to live a life of service, and to create a better, stronger union. And stand up if you're ready to get started.